Okay, whatever. Isotope ozone 11 equalizer has just been released. You probably know that because it is a plugin by Isotope, and yeah, I'm just making a video really quickly. Don't even edit it or anything, so everyone has the basic idea what this is doing, just in case that you don't wanna go check it out yourself yet and just wanna have a quick idea. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do in this video. So here's a little beat. And yeah, I wanna do something else this evening, so that's why I don't make it more excessive. Okay, so first of all, it's nice that it's called equalizer, because that way I can just type it into the plugin search and have it. Some plugins are not that easy to find when you need them. Okay, so here is a little track that I called frogs, because I wanted the sound to be like frogs. And now I added a filter, and yeah, it thought that I want to have a shelf. I kinda expected it to make a cut, but it does make a shelf. I mean, I kinda appreciate that, because sometimes shelves are better than cuts due to having less of a phase response messing up stuff. But I could change it to a cut. Oh wait, these are called in pass, not in cuts, so I have to actually choose the high pass, the flat one. Mouse wheel works just like in Pro Q, but there are just 2 slopes. I mean, that's okay. I usually just use 12 and 24 anyway. 6 would have been nice too though. What's this? Oh, there are more slopes. Wait, when there are more slopes, why? Oh, I was just able to scroll further. Okay. Yeah, so the confusing thing here is just hitting the scroll wheel once does not go to the next slope, but as you can see down here on the parameter representation in Bitwig, this is like a float parameter, and scrolling up moves it down instead of up. That's kind of confusing, but it's not something that you would notice in the plugin itself. Just a little detail that's weird in the representation that has no GUI. So, okay. So we have a lot of different slopes, not just 12 and 24, but actually up to 48. I cannot move the filter up or down like in Pro Q. Maybe I can do that with the resonant one. No. I can change the gain. It's not a nice workflow to have to use this menu here instead of being able to just drag the knot. Why did they decide to do it like that? Oh, mouse wheel does the same thing. Okay, I take it back. Mouse wheel does the same thing. So resonant high is actually a nice workflow, and the other one, I guess it is pretty useless. Now brick wall. Here mouse wheel does nothing. Okay. Oopsie, I chose the wrong one again. I think it would kind of make sense from a workflow point of view if the high pass one came first in the list of things, because usually I go left to right when I make filters and not right to left. Alright, now this time I have to use this one. Okay. Oh, the high pass, low pass reacts a little bit differently, I think. I don't know why, but the curve that I make with it looks different. I don't know why. 0.7, but this one looks like it's wider, or is it just me? Anyway. Analog digital. Okay, interesting. Let's look at it in EQ curve analyzer. So now we are in EQ curve analyzer, And we check out the phase response. So analog looks like this. Digital looks like this. Okay, that's very fancy. Suggest. Okay, so this plugin has latency, so I had to let EQ-curve analyzer figure out the latency. So now we are actually in digital mode and there is no phase response even though the filters are working so hard. I guess then they have to be linear phase in digital mode. Analog. Suggest. So now we have a much lower latency and we have crazier phase responses. So analog is a normal filter and digital is linear phase. That's kind of intuitive because usually people think that whenever something is called analog it is better, but when it comes to filters, linear phase filters are usually seen as better. One thing that I cannot, okay, no, I don't want to generalize it, but one thing I cannot know now is if analog has some sort of distortion on it or digital, because I don't have the tool to check that right now. Or actually, yeah, okay, let's just try that. I could try using plugin script and just send a test tone through the plugin. So now we have a test tone at 1000 Hertz. And I can use a spectrum analyzer to look at the spectrum. Okay, analog, now digital. Okay, so apparently this has nothing to do with distortion, because if any of these filters had something non-linear in them, then even though they are not directly touching 1000 Hertz, it would kind of show up. So yeah, this is really just about digital, about convolution or not convolution. Okay, let's just use analog. Oh, the filter response looks a little bit different. The magnitude response, I mean. Interesting. What's this? This is a different view that gives you control about all of the filters at once. Kind of cool. Let's just take, oh, delta. What does delta do when you only have passes? Okay. Just like expected, you only hear the stuff that it removes. Useful. I like that it's just a button that enables delta for everything altogether. That's kind of cool. I guess I could also use solo for that. And then it's a delta for just the thing that I'm changing. What's this amount? Okay, I guess that makes more sense when you are using different filters than shelves, just like in ProQ. Okay, now I want to find the dynamic stuff. I have seen the basics now. Now it's time to check out the dynamic stuff. So if I were dynamic stuff, I would probably be in this, on this arrow button, but it's not a button actually. Why is it not a button? Or maybe, well, maybe the high pass filters and low pass filters don't have the dynamic stuff. So let's use a bell for that. No, also proportional Q. And then there is normal bell. Okay, band shelf, also useful. Yeah, I mean the selection of filters here is definitely cool. What's this? Band XL. I don't know why I would want to use that. Resonance? A resonant low shelf. I mean, I already had one in ProQ, so it's not something that I definitely need now, but I guess if you don't have any cool EQ yet in your DAW, then there is a new option now. Like for a long time, Nova was basically TDR Nova was the only option for people to get some really usable equalizer into their DAW of choice. And now there is Ozone 11 equalizer, which kinda looks like it will take Nova's place now, the more I look at it. Now I want to try something else. There is a thing for resizing the interface, and one thing that I always care a lot about is if the plugin manages to remember its new size. So here we have Ozone 11 equalizer, Ozone 11 equalizer again, and it remembered its size. And now the next test, if the next instance will also remember its size, it does not. So that's unfortunate, because it means that this is like you would have to do it over and over again, which is definitely something that I don't agree with. So I want to go into the options menu, but I will have to pause the window while doing that, just in case that my email address is there or anything. Okay, very good. The email address is not in this menu, just an information that I have a license. That's good that they really thought about this detail. Okay, history depth. So there is undo support. Not something that I care about, but if Weaver Beats is watching, then that's for you. Spectrum type linear. Okay, you can change something about the spectrum analyzer in the background. That's not something that I care a lot about, but wow, you can even choose different window types. That's very nerdy. Even the window size, you could go really high. Let's try that. I actually like to go high with window size, because then you have more precision in the low end, even though it is a little bit more laggy. Average time 1 second, yeah, whatever. Tilt, slope, okay, that's going to be useful for making things fit more to perceived volume. 3 dB per octave is already the perfect setting, because it aligns with the idea that pink noise represents our perception pretty well. Show peak hold, that might be interesting. Equalizer, okay. Performance, soft saturation can be enabled. Oh, cool. I will actually do that, because I usually like my plugins to, my filter plugins to be a little bit more on the saturating side. Buffer size. Oh, there is an internal buffer size or something. Cool. I want it to be quite short, so that I can get good modulation from this plugin. That's nice. Frequency resolution going down to 12 Hertz. Or what? I don't know what this thing wants from me. I guess the resolution should be defined by the window size of the spectrum, but whatever. I/O, enable I/O meters, detect true peaks. Yeah, why not? Let's try all the features. Enable mono bypass, gain match behavior, RMS, peak, decibel non-linear. What? There is also decibel linear. Whatever. Meter source, stereo, peak hold time, I don't know. Integration, I don't know. Readout, like I don't care about VU meters a lot, because I cannot interpret them very well anyway. Okay, so I didn't find any setting about letting this thing remember its bounds, so I guess it's not a thing. Hey, cool, I can activate gain match. Let's see if that works. Wait. Okay. So I can change the range, but it will still not go. Oh, it does go higher then. But why was it such a weird workflow to get to the higher range values? That was kind of weird. Okay, so the gain match, you can see the slider moving up and down a little bit. So apparently this is not gain matching based on the values of the filter, just like that, like in Pro Q, but it is actually measuring something on the input signal and the output signal. I guess it is measuring the loudness over time, and it jumps back to 0 when you don't disable this. So it kind of keeps on matching the gain when you're not playing back. I mean, that's not what I would expect it to do, but I guess I should have just clicked on this thing and then it would be cool. Okay, usually I'm not a big fan of gain matching tools that compress the signal in order to gain match, but I guess this is kind of okay because it shows to you that it's using this mechanic and it lets you turn it off after a while, so you could just go like boom. And oh no, wait. No, wait. When you turn it off, it jumps back to the value where it was before. No, then I don't like it. I would have found it cool if it would remember it then. Like, you can shortly activate the feature to let it find the value, and then you can disable it again so that it's static. Then I would think it's cool, but not the way it is right now. That's like not very usable like this. So TDI Nova still has one thing going on for it. It has a proper gain match feature. Also, I can't press space when I've clicked on the interface. The plugin seems to have consumed the keyboard inputs. That's a problem a lot of plugins have here in Bitwig, and yeah, not all of the plugins have this problem. So I would expect something like this to not have the problem because it's, I don't know, so important. Like if someone chooses this to be their main EQ, then it should just work. It should just work so fine, you know. I have to click somewhere else again. Okay, stop. See, I always have to click off into the interface of the door to make the keyboard inputs work again. It's kind of getting annoying after a short while. And yeah, I accept that for plugins that I don't use a lot, but this thing, if Isotope expects me to use it a lot, then it should better work very well, like really extremely well, and be tested in Bitwig, of course. So what is this? EQ. Okay, I can give this instance a different name. Frog passes. That would kind of describe the function that it has to add low passes and high passes to like reduce it to the sweet spot. Maybe I could just call it sweet spot EQ. Okay, I find it cool that I can give this instance a name, because that means I can use another instance and give it a different name. Wait, where does it even show me the name though? When I have not clicked on this thing, where is the name? If it doesn't show me the name, then it's not really useful to have a name on it. I don't understand this feature yet. I can only see the name when I'm actually writing it. Okay, what's this? Stereo mid-side. Oh, okay, yeah, the different modes. So now we're in mid-side mode. So we can actually add side bands. Come on, let's go. Okay, I don't get it yet. Like, how is this adding side information, or is it adding mid? Ah, fuck, what are these buttons doing, man? Okay, I get it. I can choose between working on the mid part of the signal and working on the side part of the signal. This is now the side part of the signal. Okay, no, let's get rid of that again. So if I go back to stereo, then this is interpreted as all stereo again. That's nice. Left, right. Now I have two different EQs for left and right. It's not as good of a workflow as in ProQ, where you can look at both sides at the same time. You have to switch between the views. I don't know why they decided for this design decision. It's just inferior, and we already know that it can be better. Even though that one EQ by Minimal Audio, Morph EQ, has some good solutions for this problem. Instead of letting you manually define an offset to left and right, it has a knob where you can dial in an offset for all parameters at once, and it's also shown to you like both sides at the same time. So there is really no reason to put this on different views. Okay, let's try the transient sustain things. Now we have transient EQ. Okay, this signal doesn't have enough transient stuff going on for this feature to be useful here. Let's actually try it on the wooden brake thingy. Okay, equalizer. Now, transient sustain. Let's say I want to add equalization to the transient. I don't know, let's just try something. I want to go higher to the higher decibel values. Oh, I can also drag it like this. Okay, good. I understand the intended workflow. Nice. Now let's go on. Okay, stop. Now, sustain. Okay, just for good measure, what would happen if I did the same thing with the transient here? So that would have a significantly more drastic effect. Which makes sense because this is a very transient heavy signal. How can I decide like what is the transition between transient and sustain? The interface doesn't really show me when it transitions from one thing to the other. Yeah, not sure. Okay. Okay, I definitely came up with an EQ curve that kinda does something cool. Now what I'm wondering is, did it remember my settings? Soft saturation. Cool. When I make a new instance, does it also remember my settings? Soft saturation. Okay, very good. So that's definitely saved. So now they should just implement the same thing for the interface size and it would be all right. Okay. Yeah, it's a really subtle effect. Like you can dial it in super hard and it will still not be super audible. You don't really know what's the attack and release of it. Like, okay, wait. It's impossible that there is no control for that, is it? Or is it not? I just don't understand. Why would there be no control? There must be a value. It's just not a parameter. Delta. Maybe this will give us some more information. Also not clear why the thing that it just showed was interpreted as a sustained part of the signal. It sounded very transient here as well. Okay, I always had a bit of a problem with transient shapers. But just for good measure, let's also try to use spiff here. Okay, I gotta say I like the workflow in spiff more, because it's like you don't have to choose a specific part of the signal that you wanna have the transients changed on. It's just giving you the whole signal and then you're just reducing it with the filters. And then you have these overall controls which also have time controls. Sorry. So there are time controls and there are no time controls in ozone 11 equalizer. I mean, it's a bit of a tough comparison because ozone equalizer is like thrown at you for free now, and spiff is extremely expensive. But I already have spiff, so I will just use spiff for these kind of things. And ozone 11 equalizer, I guess it's a really great new plugin for everyone who didn't have something like that yet. It's just that here and there could be a little bit more to it, and then it would be just perfect. I think actually so perfect that I would sometimes consider it above using spiff. And the most important thing that is missing here is definitely time control on the transients and sustain thing, unless I've just not seen it, in which case the problem is that the workflow has to be refined. And the second most important thing that is missing here is the fact that it doesn't remember the size. I don't understand why plugin developers sometimes release plugins that let you change the interface size and don't think about the fact that actually people who change the interface size want to save this size. I don't know why that doesn't make sense to all of the devs who whose plugins I test every day. To me personally, when I change the size of an interface, it just means I want to find a new size that I really like, and then this will be my size for this given screen on this given computer forever. That's what I expect changing the size to do for me. Because otherwise, why would I change the size when I have to do it over and over again anyway? I don't have time to drag this crappy thing out every time. Yeah, it's just my opinion. What is this channel link? Oh, I don't want to test that now. It's a boring feature. Okay. Yeah, I don't look too impressed now because I guess I already have spiff and I don't know. Also, I guess this plugin gets enough publicity anyway. I just wanted to give it my own spin because most people don't care a lot about the details, wouldn't even go into the settings menu, would just dive through the presets or some shit. And I just actually look at the things. So some people might value that, even though I'm not looking too impressed while doing so. Okay, now I can finally go to the things that I actually want to do this evening.